Shalom everyone, I have a special update for all of you. For millennia, people have been trying to decipher the apocalypse and the end of days. And there's a very famous passage in Ezekiel 38 that talks about a major war that will happen in the end of days. Also, the book of Revelation has a lot to say. But today, we're going to talk about the use of supercomputers into deciphering the apocalypse. We have artificial intelligence that is being nourished by supercomputers that have millions of gigabytes of data and that can calculate so many things and millions of operations per second. So someone asked a supercomputer, what are the main things that are needed or that could potentially cause a global catastrophe? And the answer given by the supercomputer was shocking. Number one, the supercomputer says artificial intelligence or robotics failure in agriculture. We have become so dependent on technology for agriculture that if there is some kind of a system failure or cyber attack, it can collapse a big percentage of the agricultural industry. Interestingly, that is happening nowadays before our very eyes. There has been a lot of reports of people being concerned about the food supply being in the hands of technology that is so fragile and that has collapsed in the past. Then it goes on to mention the supercomputer mentions the factor number two. It says large-scale migration or refugee crisis. Wow, that's pretty interesting because it's exactly what's happening now. Millions are flooding the U.S., Europe, and this can collapse these civilizations and can collapse the food supply of these nations. The following that the supercomputer says, it said ocean collapse, fishery depletion, and that's exactly what's happening now. They have been depleting and depleting the ocean of its natural resources. Then it goes on to name the following factor. It says collapse of pollinator populations, like the bees that pollinate. That's exactly what's happening with all of the chemicals and pesticides. They have been decimating the bee population in so many areas. The following one, it says that the supercomputer found, it says global water crisis. That's exactly what's happening with droughts and everything that is happening globally. A lot of places are running out of fresh water. Then it mentions cyber attacks on global infrastructure. It's happening before our very eyes. Actually, many governments are concerned about it, and some governments use it as means of warfare against other governments. The following says asteroid impact. Interesting. We haven't seen any asteroid lately, but the Bible talks about a big asteroid. And a few years ago, we had a big asteroid impacting Russia that could be a harbinger of a bigger one approaching. The following that the supercomputer found was solar geoengineering failure. The supercomputer says if attempts to mitigate climate change through solar geoengineering, injecting aerosols into the stratosphere to cool the planet. Wow, that's very interesting because that's exactly what's happening with all of the chemtrails. They have been manipulating um, uh, the weather, the atmosphere for a very long time, and that can cause a global catastrophe. It's happening before our very eyes. The following one that the supercomputer mentioned is a super volcano eruption. Wow. We had some volcanic eruptions lately, and a lot of scientists are saying that the super volcano is around the corner. Very interesting. Then it says massive crop failures due to plant disease. It has happened and is happening right now worldwide. The following that the supercomputer mentioned is geopolitical conflict and trade wars. It's happening before our very eyes between the US, China, the issue of Taiwan, the Ukrainian war, Israel at war with all of the Arab neighbors. Everything that is happening is right before our very eyes. Then it says global economic collapse. We're around the corner with that, with like $32 trillion in debt with the US economy, the Ukrainian war, the Israeli war, threat of Iran, and everything that is happening is right there around the corner. And then it says pandemics on a larger scale than COVID 19. Well, we just had COVID 19, and a lot of scientists are saying that a bigger one is just around the corner. Then it mentions climate change, extreme events. There has been extreme droughts, a lot of floods lately, so it's very interesting, impacting food supplies. And then finally, number one, it says nuclear war. Wow, that's interesting because since the Ukrainian war began, the president of Russia has been threatening the West with nuclear war almost every single day. So somebody asked the supercomputer, how close are we to nuclear war? The answer was shocking. The supercomputer said 40% chance. That means that if you have 10 coins in your pocket, you have 4 are yellow and 6 are silver color, and you put your hand in your pocket and you get um, a yellow coin, there's nuclear war. So the chance is almost 50-50. That's super high. Never in history we were that high. They were expecting the supercomputer to say maybe 2%, 3%, 4%, but analyzing everything that is happening in the world, all of the geopolitics, everything, the supercomputer predicted 40%. Now, what this has to do with Bible prophecy, because this is exactly what the Bible is saying. All of the harbingers that the supercomputer is putting forward just by analyzing modern day society, what's happening in the world, what's happening right now, how the world works, all of those factors are happening before our very eyes, and the Bible predicted that this will come. So it's time to repent, seek the Father more than ever before, and spend quality time with Him, because all of the harbingers are right before our very eyes. Now the answer is when. So be sobered and be prepared for that day. Thank you and shalom.